Hey guys, sorry. Warning my boyfriend that I'm doing a haul video. It's been a really long time. How you doing? As you can hear, Elvis is up and about. He's been getting very chatty recently. Come here. Because I know before you see any vintage stuff, you want to say hi to Elvis. Hi, Baba, right? But just hold him this whole video. He'll be totally quiet, but I don't think that's going to work out. So, okay. Anyway, sorry, this is a weird setup, I think. I'm super overdue for a video. I have not done one since the end of October, and I really want to be more regular about these. So I thought that what I would do, and I haven't been doing them because I've been trying to like work on my shit and get productive, and you know, that's hard to balance with YouTubing. So what I thought I would do is, these are some of the things that I'm going to steam today, so that I can photograph them. I don't know if I'll be able to photograph today looking at the sun. But anyway, and I thought I would talk to you about the items and just about stuff in general while I do that. So I hope that this isn't super boring. But if it is, it's too bad because it's my channel. And that's what I'm doing. So anyway, the first thing I have is this Ralph Lauren shirt, the Big Pony. I haven't found one of these in a long time. And I looked it up, and there's still, this one was selling decently. I found that the Big Pony stuff with the countries, I don't know if it's soccer or what kind of thing it's supposed to be, but they seem to sell pretty well. So this was going for nice prices and nice, like 50, 60 bucks probably. Some of them may have been going for more if they were new with tags. The difficulty that I may have with this is that this is, I believe, a child's size because it's marked size large. It's obviously not a size large for a man. So, but I don't know. I didn't really see comps for a kid, but I figure whatever. I got it at a 50% off day at my unique thrift store. And let's see, how much was it? It was $3.50. So that's not bad, right? I figure I'd get it. We'll give it a shot. I've been trying to, I feel like I have to raise this camera. I don't know if I can do that effectively. Also, I need to take advantage of my steam. This steamer, by the way, it's awesome because it's a steamer, and steamers are freaking awesome. However, the thingy doesn't go up high enough. So either I'm like bent down like this steaming, and when you get towards the bottom, it's a little difficult, I think. But if I hang it on something higher, the hose doesn't always want to reach. But what I will say is that if you don't have a steamer and you've been thinking about it, fucking get it because it is worth it. I paid 25 bucks for this in a thrift store, and it was pretty much new. Had not looked completely unused. And it's amazing. And now that I have it, it's worth it. Like, it's just worth it. It makes things easier. You know, for me, it's in my way a lot, but that's a whole host of other issues. I don't know how I'm going to deal with this collar. This dress, by the way, look at this thing. I love it. It's very sheer, and I'm not sure what era it is, and I haven't tried it on or stuck it on a mannequin yet because it was all wrinkled. So even if I put it on, I would not have had any idea what it really looked like. I think it's 70s. The tag is a little funky, but this collar is like this weird pointy shaped collar, right? So that's really cool. It's got these covered buttons, and the tags are not super exciting. Like, it's not very telling of anything. If Elvis is making you nuts, he's making me nuts too. I am sorry, but I don't know what's going on. He just likes to make a lot of noise. He shuts up if I hold him, but you know, I always do that. So anyway, this dress I got at my Salvation Army for $5. I mean, hello. I've really been intermittently trying to control my shopping, which I'm pretty sure I talk about in every single video I do. However, the more I talk about it and the more I practice it, the better I'm getting at it, right? So I've been working on a lot of different changes recently for my work habits, for my mental state. Ow, fuck me, that dripped steaming hot water on my fingers. All sorts of stuff. I've just been trying to, you know, I don't know how I'm going to do this collar. Trying to get my act together in multiple ways. And it's been working very slowly, but it's working. And this is, honest to God, like the first time in my life that I have made an actual effort to change my behaviors, not just my behaviors, but my way of thinking. And it's slow, but I can see the difference, you know? So it's encouraging in that sense. But it is difficult. I'm really fortunate that I've had the time to do this. I really have to change this camera. This is horrible. Hi, there's somebody viewing. I don't have the chat pulled up. Maybe I should do that. I'm really fortunate that I've had the time to do this, that I've been able to, you know, because I'm not working a traditional job, I've been able to, you know, I've had a lot of time. And during that time, I can, you know, whatever. I've been doing a journal thing, and I can talk about that a little bit. But all of these things together, I'm just working on my daily practices. And I've been going to therapy, I'm doing this journal thing. I watched some videos about mindset and stuff like that. So I've had the time not only to do all that, but because I'm not distracted with all the crap I would be doing at a traditional job, I'm also able to focus more on my self-improvement issues. So, all right, let's see. Turn that volume down. Okie dokie. Hey, Emery, how you doing? Yeah. Anyway, Elvis, I don't know what Elvis wants. I really need to raise this up, and I don't know how to do that. Maybe I can stick it on this thing. Oh. I apologize for the turbulence you are about to experience. Let's see. That's probably going to be better. That's the other thing. I haven't done a whole lot of videos because this is a shithole in here. And that's part of my project is I am working on making it not a shithole. So it's been a long process, but again, it's getting there, but I keep making progress and then sabotaging myself. Right, the collar doesn't look too bad, right? It's pretty cool. I can't wait to see what I do with that. I have no idea what I'm going to sell this for. I just noticed during steaming, which is another thing that's really cool about steaming, because like ironing, you can notice defects. This has a little hole in the front there, but it's such a unique piece that, oh, balls. I don't think it'll matter too much. So I don't know, I might go somewhere between 40 and 60 for this, I think. So anyway, I've been working on getting my shithole straightened out. And one of the major things that I've come to realize, and this is mostly through the mindset work that I've been doing. I know it sounds all like going to mindset, but it's true. It's the way that you think, and all of that stuff that people say about, you know, the way that you think about yourself and the words that you use are important, and all of that stuff is true. And in an individual moment, it doesn't seem like it makes much of an impact. But as you start paying attention to how you think about yourself, for some of us at least, some of us may not have that problem. You start paying attention about how you think about yourself, and I realize that I don't see myself as this successful reseller. It's a thing that I look at, I'm like, oh, maybe someday I'm going to get to that. That's what I want to do. I want to be that. But a big part of it for me is that I really need to think of myself in that way already. I needed to visualize, like, if I was what I consider to be a successful reseller, or successful in my business, or a successful person in general, what would that look like for me? And I realized that that would not look like some chick sitting around in the same pajamas she's worn for 3 days, with unwashed hair and no makeup on and looking disgusting in a room full of mess. That's not what my vision of a successful person is. And once I inserted myself into a vision of a successful person, it felt way more possible than sort of looking at other people that I thought were successful and thinking, how can I be like that person, right? Because that's, there's a lot of ways in which I don't want to be like those people. There are a lot of people that I admire for different reasons, and not always everything about them is admirable or something that I want to model myself after. So that was number one. The thing that really, sorry, I can't see seeing on this. The thing that really opened that up for me, I guess, was a mindset coach that I have been following. Honest to God, I do not remember how I found this woman, because I always think that stuff is a bunch of crap, right? Not that I think it's a bunch of crap. I don't. I think that the majority of the people that you come across who do that as a business are crappy at it and like shysters, you know. So all these people are like, oh, I'm a life coach, and you know, I think that they're full of shit, right? But somehow I came across this woman, and I don't even remember what I followed, Instagram, Facebook, something. And I just was inspired by her. And then I started following another page of hers. And then she has a monthly access thing, like you pay a monthly access fee and you get access to certain courses and things on her website. And it's like $33 a month. And I actually signed up for that. That's another thing that I just don't do. And it's been really helpful because part of what she does is very like the secret law of attraction stuff, right? It's that if you put out into the universe that, you know, if you believe that you have all this money, you're going to have all the money, right? But it's way more than that. And she goes into why it's way more than that and what you can do to achieve that, right? So you don't just sit back and think like, oh, I'm rich, and then you're rich, right? You have to do what she calls taking massive, messy action. You have to make decisions. You have to take action. So if you decide, I want this new car, you have to start doing things that are going to move you in that direction. And God, I really need to do this the other way. I keep missing spots. And that's definitely something that I traditionally have not done. I am a very reactive person. I wait for something to happen, and then I respond to that thing. When I was working a traditional job, the majority of what I did every day was waiting for something to happen. Somebody would come to me with a question. I would have to answer an email. I would have to answer a phone call. That's most, oh, this is cute, by the way. See, cute embroidered blouse. I got this at Salvation Army. I think this is probably 70s. I'm forgetting about the clothing while I'm talking all this crap about my personal life. So probably European-y, but I love the embroidery. I wish it had stuff on the back that always bothers me. It feels like polyester-y, but it's cute. And this tuxedo, I don't know if I need to steam this, maybe a little. Tuxedo jacket. This was by After Six, which was a company that I remember, like one of those mall tuxedo rental places in like the 80s and 90s at least. So I think that that's when this jacket is from, probably maybe the 70s. And I've seen a few of them. I looked it up on eBay, and some of them were selling for, I want to say like $60 to $80 price range, somewhere in there. So I picked it up. It may have been $8. I can't remember. Some of the stuff that I've gotten recently, I don't remember if I paid full price for it or if it was on a 50% off day. But you know, $8 is still a really good investment. Plus, it's awesome looking. I love awesome looking stuff, right? It's funky and weird and different. So anyway, mindset stuff. So I follow this woman, and you know, I realize that the way in which I view myself plays obviously a gigantic role in how productive I am, how successful I am. So me being successful, me being a person who has her shit together. Oh, look at this thing, right? This is like a Lurex sparkly purple thing. Really cool. I almost wore this the other day, but I was going to see my therapist, and it was 9 o'clock in the morning, and I just felt like maybe that was overkill, right? Because like, who needs to wear a sparkly disco gown at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning to, you know, cry about her self-esteem? So, oh, it's got bell sleeves. I don't think I even realized that before. Anyway, so this sort of pipe dream, like dreaming about a mansion that you're never going to own, right? And it's like, oh yeah, some people have mansions, that's cool, versus like, I don't know, somehow picturing yourself in it. So starting to think about myself in a different way allowed me to start to think about myself in a different way, if that makes sense. the thing that did it for me was one of the things I got. The woman that I follow her name is Catherine Zankina. And on Facebook and Instagram, she is Manifestation Babe. So just, all one word on Instagram. And she's been growing pretty rapidly. She's only been doing this for about 2 years, which is incredible. She's young. She's like in her freaking 20s or something. And, I like the practical advice that she gives. I think that the law of attraction universe stuff is great, if only because there's nothing wrong with having a positive attitude and believing in something optimistic, right? I think that can't do anything but be beneficial for you. So if for no other reason than that, I think that the law of attraction stuff is worth learning about. However, what I really like about her is that she talks about the practical ways that you can make changes in your life. And that's been working for me, which is fucking amazing. And I'm sure that a big catalyst for me, burning myself. I'm really bad at using this and not burning myself. A really big catalyst in all this for me was, I'm sure, the fact that I got on some antidepressants. I think that was basically just like not a cure-all, but it was cracked that door open just enough for me to be able to start taking action. I got this a long time ago. It says $13. I may have paid $13 for this. I don't know, but this thing's awesome. I'm probably going to try and do this also for like 60 or 70 bucks. It's fantastic. Ooh, and this sweater was maybe $8, but I think it was $4 because I think I got this at 50% off. So it's an Argyle sweater. Argyle sweater, cashmere, and the brand. This tag is falling off, but the brand is Valentine. They're made in Scotland, and I was aware of it because I have a great vintage sweater by them that I love. And when I had gotten that, I looked it up and found out, what it was worth. And they go for nice money. They have a following. So I forget. I looked this up. Probably also in the $60 range, but that's great. I mean, you spend $4, you make 60. That's the way I like to do things. Definitely a preferable form of business for me. I keep saying that I'm not going to buy lower profit items, and then I keep sort of doing it. And then it's like I get into some sort of trance when I'm in the thrift store and I look at these things and I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'm going to sell it. It'll be great. I'll show you one of them. Right. So this is vintage, but it's, I don't know, probably like what, 80s vintage. It's Daffy Duck. I mean, this is not my thing, right? But it's Daffy Duck. It looked almost new. It was $7, $3.50. I'll show you the tag. Changes. So I knew it was vintage because of that tag. And then of course the sleeves, this is called the single stitching, right? So there's not 2 rows of stitching, there's just one. And it indicates vintage, but this thing is gonna net me maybe $15. Like what? I don't know why I bought this. So then what I wanna do is chuck it into a donation pile and just get it out of my house. But I literally just bought this. Like sometimes I can kind of do that. Oh, I've had it for a year. Now I can chuck it into a donation pile. I've gone a lot, vacillated a lot on how to handle that stuff. By the way, I showed this on my Instagram, my Facebook group friends. This is some like cheap Chinese brand sweater, but I don't care because look at this. It's got fucking wings on the arms. It's ridiculous. I don't know what the brand or the fabric is because everything is written in like Asian character language. It's completely a synthetic fabric. I mean, this is like stretchy athletic wear kind of, but it's cool. I had to buy that. I can't remember. I think I paid probably $6 or $8 for it because it came from a Goodwill. Anyway, so what I was saying. Oh, I keep vacillating on dealing with my hoard of items, right? There are things in my hoard that are amazing and that I love and that I just haven't dealt with posting for various reasons. And then there are things that, like honestly, this Ralph Lauren shirt, I could have done without that because I have so many things in my inventory that I'll be able to make 30, 40, $50 on. I don't need to go looking for new things right now. And because of the large number of items I have, it actually makes me less productive. It sort of deflates me. It makes the work difficult to do because I don't have space. I have to, you know, move 6 things out of the way to take pictures, all that stuff, right? I've held off on getting a lighting kit because I want to make sure that I have space to utilize it properly without getting aggravated by it, because I tend to get aggravated by things and then not want to deal with them, right? So, but what I really need to do is just get the fucking lighting kit. Like, especially now that it's winter, the light is atrocious. It's light for less of the day, but it also seems like the sunlight comes in at a slightly different, less beneficial angle. So I just have a really difficult time getting photographs. So all these things, you know, I just need to be able to make this stuff happen and stop sitting around going back and forth on my decisions, which is one of the things that Catherine talks about, is making decisions. That successful people make decisions, right? And you don't want to make uninformed decisions. Holy cannoli. 1 second. Jesus. Make that noise all day. Hi. My speaker plug thing hit the metal desk and was making a really delightful noise. Anyway, you know, successful people, you make informed decisions, obviously, but you don't sit there and go back and forth and what, you know, you just make a decision, right? And it seems to make sense. You go with your gut. There are things that you sort of instinctually know. And of course, if you buy into the universe stuff, it's also that, you know, you're getting your gut feelings for a reason, because these are things you're supposed to do. I don't know. Sometimes my gut feelings have told me to eat a 1-pound bag of Starlight Mints at a time. But, you know, you can usually figure out which gut feelings you should be listening to. By the way, lacy lingerie skirt, slip. I love this thing. Look at the lace on that. Focus, please. It's not focusing. That's sad. It's such a pretty, it's like an applique lace. So this is lace here, and then this stuff is applique. You can see it, but it's really beautiful. These slips, I just took the thing off. I paid $2, maybe $1. I don't know. I love it. I am obsessed with vintage lingerie, pretty much from the 70s and earlier. This thing also, right, looks like a teeny, first of all, it's got the tags on it, which is nice. It's got this little embroidery here, but what makes this really awesome is it's got little panties underneath it. So if you are a reseller and have been living under a rock and do not know, vintage panties, like granny panties, are a big seller, right? Some of the things that you look for and that are searchable terms for them are like mushroom gusset. So see how the seam here is sort of curved, whereas in a more modern piece, it would just be straight across. So that's called the mushroom gusset. Now, a draw, I believe, and from what I can tell, the people who really buy the granny panties, you've got 2 different populations. You've got the rockabilly pinup girls, right? And they're probably buying something a little frilly, a little cutie. But there's also a population of men that likes to buy this underwear. So larger sizes do well, and the men who wear them, you can do plain, but sometimes if they have some embellishment, that makes it better. And they like the nylon. So like not a cotton-lined crotch. If it's all nylon, that's a plus. So this particular thing, the negative on it for the male population is that it's a pretty small size, I think. I can wear this. I tried this on. But I'm like a size 8, and a guy, you know, is probably gonna be bigger. But the panties on this are all lined in nylon. It's not a cotton crotch. So sheer is a big, you know, selling thing for them. So keep an eye out for them, because usually in thrift stores, the granny panties are going to be inexpensive, and then you can sell them for a nice profit, anywhere from like $20 up to, you know, $50 or $60. The $50, $60 ones are going to be ones that are probably a larger size. They're going to be a color, red, blue, pink, and they're going to have some sort of embellishment on them, usually. So this one, because it's a smaller size and because it's got like a little, you probably can't see it, there's a very mild discoloration right here. So I will probably try to sell this more in the $20 range. I will look it up a little bit before I make a decision on that. But that's the other thing I've been doing too when I do my research. I've realized that research is one of the things that sucks my time up when I'm trying to list things. And between, you know, the advice about don't do so much research and the advice about just make a decision, I have been attempting to do that more. If it's an item like this, I don't research it too much because it's not like this is going to sell for $200, right? So if I'm losing out on money, maybe I'm losing out on 20 bucks, worst case scenario. But the amount of time that I would spend researching this to see if it was worth an extra 20 bucks, I could have listed, for me, probably like 2 other items. So I try to, you know, I'll usually do an initial scan. I listed something sort of routine the other day. I can't remember what it was. Let's say it was the Ralph Lauren shirt, right? I listed something like that. I hadn't listed it in a while, so I did look it up to see what it was going for, but I just did a quick scan of solds. I didn't go into depth. I have some Lululemon stuff right now that is kicking my ass because I cannot find this shit anywhere. And I'm just going to put it up for a price. I'm going to stick it up for like 50, 60 bucks. Now, is it maybe one of those very bizarre things that they'll pay 80 bucks for? It could be. I don't think that it is. So, you know, I need to move. I need to be productive because not only do I get more things done if I'm posting more, obviously, but it makes me feel like I've gotten more done. My confidence is raised and I feel like I can accomplish these things. So, you know, and all of this stuff, I mean, I'm talking since I started taking antidepressants in July, August, and I started with the mindset work, maybe October, no, maybe August, September, something like that. And then I've also, I go to a therapist now, which took a little bit longer to start, but that helps. So all of these things, it's reiteration, it's working every week, every day, reminding myself of stupid little things. Every time I'm walking around the house and I do something and I'm like, oh, Laura, you're such a moron. I stop myself and I'm like, okay, we made a mistake and that's it. You're not a moron, you're not a dumbass. It sounds funny and sarcastic and jokey and like you're being self-deprecating, but ultimately I say those things because it's kind of how I see myself. And I think that if I was somebody looking at me from the outside, that's not what I would see. So I'm trying to be kind, and in being kind to myself, I'm being more productive. This slip I'm very happy about because, first of all, I love this stuff. This is like probably 40s, right? And it seems to be, yes, it is. It's new old stock. I'll show you the tag shortly. But when I got it, it smelled like mothballs. And I didn't realize it. Mothball stuff is weird. First of all, I don't always have a great sense of smell, but I find that the mothball scent will sort of go away and hide for a little bit. And it'll come back out like when you put something into a plastic bag that sort of re-energizes it. And I think that's what happened with this. I didn't smell it in the store, but after it had been in a shopping bag and I got it home, I noticed it. So I was hanging this thing outside of my window for days and days and days, and I felt like the smell wasn't going away. And I've had other times where I was doing that, and it's like, oh, good, the smell went away, and then stuck it in a poly bag, and no, it did not. So as I'm steaming this, I am not noticing any odor of mothball at all, which is wonderful. What I am noticing is that, see, this is where my steamer gets troublesome because I can't pull it up too high, and if I go too low, but this is still magical. You need to get one. Also, I'm sweating my ass off right now. And it's not getting, this is like a nylon material, and it's not getting all of the folds out. I may just suck it up and leave it that way because it's hurting my arm. So this slip I paid $2.50 for. Yes. And that's the one new tag, right? Super cute. And there's somewhere in here is the, maybe not. Oh, there it is. It's not really a manufacturer tag. Rayon says 38. I find old lingerie when it says size 38, what that typically seems to mean is it's a 38-inch bust. So it took me a while to figure that out. I can't tell you how, I don't know why I could not find information on that on Google forever. Here's another one. This one's a little bit more plain. You guys can't tell. These are like a baby pink color. They're really pretty. This one was also another mothballer. I think it's new old stock, but it doesn't have any tags to indicate that, but it had those same sort of fold lines, and it seems very crisp, and, you know, so. Also no mothballs. Yes. I've said it before, but mothball smell. If you stick something in the sunshine for literally like 47 days, sometimes like 8 hours will do it, but sometimes I find that I've had to do it for multiple days. But it does seem to get rid of the mothball smell, which is fantastic because nothing else does. I've read stuff online, people say wash it. I have never once had any success in washing anything with a mothball smell. All it does is turn anything else in that load of laundry into something that smells like mothballs as well. And it's horrible, and it almost makes it worse. I don't get it. So, you know. Speaking of mothballs, and moths who are assholes, why is it that they always have to make a hole like dead center? Over here, right? Like, I had a fucking St. John red wool dress. Right here, there was a hole. Big moth hole right there. I don't even know that that's where it's listed. I tried to look up St. John with moth holes, but, you know, not much came up, obviously, not surprisingly. I'm seeing this one because I still love the sweater, and I'm still going to try and sell it. The St. John, I'm just, you know, people who buy St. John, as far as I can tell, are typically, you know, people expecting a higher quality, not higher quality, but, you know, they're a little bit more demanding for the quality of their items. They're like Eileen Fisher customers as well. People who are buying vintage are more forgiving when it comes to flaws because you can't find 12 more of these. Do you know what I mean? So it does have a giant moth hole. I would still wear it, but I also bought it for probably like $4. Well, there's a little moth hole in the shoulder, but that's just bad. But this is the tag on it. Darlene, which I've seen a couple of pieces from. I have a Darlene sweater. And this is French Angora and lamb's wool and a little bit of nylon. So hand screen print. It's really cute. I like it. I wouldn't keep it because I don't do yellows very well. So, but it's adorable. Moth holes do make me sad. But I'll probably list this in the $20 neighborhood. And for stuff like this, when I go thrifting, I still pick stuff like this up, even if I'm only going to make $20 on it because I love it. Stuff like this, I don't give a fuck about it. I don't need any Daffy Duck t-shirts. This dress. This I already have listed in my Etsy shop. The reason that I still have it out and did not put it away yet, I'm going to re-steam it because it fit really weird on the mannequin. And I wanted to make sure that it was not, there was not something wrong with it. It looked like the torso was off, like the waist was lower or higher than it should be on a person. And I tried it on myself, and it's way too small for me, but in trying it on, I could tell that it does fit properly. And then I figured out how to adjust it on the mannequin to make it look good. So I want to rephotograph it. This dress, though, is a 40s. So it's got that really cute little peplum. And what I like about the peplum, besides peplum itself, is that it's got this very sort of structured pleating. It's like an olive green. I don't think that's coming across too well for you guys. And then the collar is a really beautiful shawl collar. And it, once it's on, it sort of stands up a little bit more. It's really pretty. But you can see how pretty that is. It's like a little pleaty there. And then, you know, the nice full skirt. And the buttons, if I can do this. They're gold tone, rhinestone, and they're like sort of oval. And then they've got these button tabs, right? It's a beautiful piece. I paid on this one. I got this in a store called Beacon's Closet, which I started going to after my friends Amanda and Stu were in town. And we went to a bunch of those stores that I didn't normally frequent, but they had a really good vintage selection. And so now that's the thing that I do once in a while. So I don't think I have to do too much for this, but I paid probably 12 or 13 bucks for this. So they're a little bit more than a traditional thrift, but you know, you're getting really unique pieces. And it's crazy because they had some other stuff in those stores. They'll have something that's like, I mean, it'll be cute, but it'll be like a pink 50s dress for like 60 bucks, but it's just a plain pink dress. It's nothing spectacular about it. And then they have this thing for, you know, $12. So I just celebrate the low prices. Keep this from getting wrinkled. I have to show you this too. I'm not steaming this, but this was fantastic. Look at this thing. So this is the top, and my favorite. It is so tacky and polyester, and look at that, amazing. Wide leg, it's fantastic. It does not need steaming, but it does need some roly because this is that kind of fabric that just collects any piece of lint imaginable. It's definitely polyester, and like that uncomfortable polyester that just makes you sweat, but that piece is so awesome. And I paid $8 for that, and I do not regret it at all. This is cute too. I really like kimonos. One of the problems I have is, you know, sometimes they don't have the belt, but with this one, oh, it's in the pocket. I didn't see it until now. Anyway, this is, I paid $3.50. China, Phoenix, 100% pure silk, hand embroidery. That's the sleeve. Right, so it's hard to see in the terrible light that I have here, but you know, this dragon, it's got a lot of metallic thread. This is a really pretty design. I love these things. And I see a decent amount of them around, and I don't know if that's because of where I live or whatever, or just there's a lot of them out there, but this is not like some 20s kimono. I mean, this is like probably a 70s, but it is silk and it's got the great design. And what's wonderful about this is the kind of thing that it's obviously, you know, you can just wear it around the house as a robe. It's fantastic. But it's also great for that very bohemian style. You know, you put this loosely over a pair of jeans or something, you know, classic that way. And people can get it at a much more affordable price than an actual amazing kimono from the 20s, where you would have to like not pay your mortgage for a month to be able to afford it. So this I paid $3.50 for, and I'm probably going to list this. I want to say around 40 bucks. I'll do a quickie search because I don't know if the fact that it's black and it's got this metallic might make it a little bit more desirable. So let's see. It's very pretty. Oops, I did not steam this very well over here because I'm distracted. I'm distracted and I'm jumping topics like a crazy person. And in keeping with jumping topics, so this is what I've decided to do. So we are currently in my bedroom. This is a rolling rack. What you can't see is that right behind me is my bed, and the rolling rack is in the space between my bed and the wall. So when I get into bed, I can't get in on that side. I have to like climb over the top, right? I have a lot of just cramped stuff happening in here. The other side of my bed is a little more accessible, but you know, not great. I've got, you know, these like IKEA bags full of stuff all over the place in here. And what I really need to do in this room is clear the inventory out and make this a space that's easy to move around. At that point, I can get my light kit, right? And I'm going to talk about this in a second. And get my light kit, and I don't want to get it now because I know that with how cumbersome my room is, I either won't use it or I'll set it up and not take it down, but resent it every time I have to step over it or knock into it or whatever. So I have decided that in the spirit of taking passive, messy action, I'm going to clear this fucking room out one way or another. I've been trying to do it in an organized fashion, but that is taking me forever because I keep bringing new things in. And I'm going to try not to do that, but you know, I go back and forth on that with being successful with that. But I'm going to figure out a way to just get this shit out of here. If it makes the other room a mess, at least I've got one room that's functional, right? And I feel like a little bit more productive. So this dress, by the way. I also got this at a unique thrift, $15. I don't think it was a 25% off day. I think I just paid straight up for this. I almost didn't get this. So it's also hard to see. So it's like I guess like a polyester. This is, I'm thinking 60s because it's got the metal zipper and just the style of it. I have to steam that up. Sheer sleeves. This is all like also metallic gold threads woven in. The waist is like these little silver appliques with rhinestones all over the place. And then it's a long skirt, but the bottom, you see that? So hard to do. It's just got a neat design on the bottom that the gold thingies are printed on top of. I vacillated about this dress. I sort of was like, oh, $15, I shouldn't get it. And I was like, it's really cool and it's really different. And I'm like, yeah, and it's really different. Why would somebody be wearing this? But somebody will. And then I remembered that one of the shops that I really enjoy following and whose style I really admire, this seemed to me like something she would have in her shop. And that is sort of what pushed me over the edge. So, you know, modeling yourself after people that you admire is also a great way to move yourself up in your business. The shop that I admire, I'm sure she has no idea, but I love her. I told her a couple times I saw her. The shop is called Pussycat Vintage, and that is her name on Instagram and on Etsy. I think her actual name is Sarah. I don't see her actual name very frequently. But I just really like her style and the things that she has. She always has stuff in her shop which is like fucking wacky, but wacky in the best way. And lately she's actually been putting in what I consider to be higher scale items, higher end items. So in my opinion, her items used to be very kitschy and crazy and fun. And now they've been getting more like, you know, fancier 40s dresses and stuff like that. And so I just really like what she was doing before and what she is doing now. And that's another shop where, you know, if you follow Butchwax Vintage, she's a very well-known vintage seller. And she has just sort of impeccable taste. And she buys impeccable pieces and she gets vintage couture. But that is so far removed from what I do that it doesn't seem very possible. Mindset I'm working on changing. However, Pussycat Vintage, her stuff it's closer to what I'm interested in, and B, what I'm currently doing. It inspires me because I feel like I can get to that point. You know, I watch her do it, and I feel like it's more possible for me to do. This is a cute sweater with also fucking moth damage. I hate moths. So you can't tell. It's like a darker yellow here, a lighter here with the gray. And then buttons. This is the tag. I really like these grandpa sweaters. And I do decently with them. I sold one recently, but it was pretty fabulous. And I don't know if I wanted to steam this or not. But this does have a little mouthy hole. Not as bad as the other thing did. So I apologize that I'm all over the place today, but it's, you know, how it is. The only way I could get a video done, I really wanted to do more YouTube videos, but I feel every single day, like if I'm not listing something, then my day is totally unproductive. The problem with that is that for me to list things, I've made it very difficult for myself at the moment because I have too much. I have to move all these bags from one place to another 400 times. So, and then putting inventory away is also obviously important. Steaming it is important. So all of these things are things that you need to do, but I always tend to look at them as things that are not listing so they don't count, right? So I've had a lot of pressure on myself because in addition to that stuff, there's other things that I'm trying to do from a personal development standpoint or, you know, getting my house together standpoint. So I have not prioritized YouTube videos, and admittedly, when I was doing them before, a large part of why I was doing them, I mean, I love doing them, but it was something that Probably was a good procrastination method for me, but it felt like it was productivity because, you know, felt like I was doing something cool. And I love doing it. So I want to find a way to be more consistent about doing these, but I also want to, I want to find a way to continue to do the things that are going to bring money into my house. These pants are also the best. I really have to roly-poly them off. These are not vintage. It's more of like a modified overall, I think. I'll show you in a minute. This company that makes these, I think, is called Sky New York. Look at this. So, let's see. I got these a long time ago. Sky New York, they're size 4. C, S-E-A. Sorry, not Sky, C. I got these a while ago, and I've been going back into some of my older stocks of inventory to pull some things out to list. So I don't remember what I paid for this, and I don't remember what I looked at. I know that when I looked it up, I was impressed by what the comps were. It was not a brand I had heard of. You know, look it up, and I think you'll see. But I think I've only seen one other piece of that brand before. So this, I also got at Beacon's Closet. I just thought it was cute, and I'm not really sure if this is going to be, this may be one of those things that I bought and didn't really need to buy. But it's reminiscent of the 1940s Western wear shirts. You know, the sort of, I can't think of the name of the gabardine, right? This is not gabardine. It is not a brand at all. It has no tags. So, but it's got this sort of pin tuck detail and the rickracky thing. These buttons are interesting, right? I'm not even totally sure if it's a man or a woman. It's sort of like a jacket. It's got a squared off bottom. I paid $10 for this. When I bought this, actually, I got this at L Train Vintage, another sort of vintage thrift shop. This is in Brooklyn. And when I got it, my boyfriend was with me, and he, for many, many years, was very actively in the rockabilly scene. And so he doesn't tend to wear stuff like this any longer, but he's got a decent knowledge of it. And so he thought it was pretty cool looking. So I got it. I don't think it'll be a super high profit item. And stuff like this, I get a little intimidated about trying to describe it because it doesn't have a brand, and I'm not super familiar with the style. I'm not sure what terms to use. And this is the kind of thing that I end up procrastinating listing because I don't really know how to describe it. And what I've started doing with that, you know, one day I said to myself, why do you avoid listing so much? Like, what is it about listing, you know, especially a particular item? Why do you not want to list it? What are you afraid of? And, you know, I've realized, ooh, hello, focus. Not focused. There you are, hi. I realized that I felt like I couldn't describe it well. And then I said, okay, well, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? You're going to write a shitty description, but it'll be posted. Better than no description, right? So, and it's probably not going to be as bad of a description as I think. So, so I've started trying to do that. If I feel like I'm avoiding an item, I'm like, shut up, pick it up, list it, right? This I love a lot. I got this, I think also at L Train Vintage. And this actually fits me and looks really nice on me. So it's got this velvet bow. This stuff is pretty cool. It's like a wool Angora type of trim that you can't see. This is a brown with like a darker brown stripe in it. It's got a nice long skirt. It's very pretty. It looks really nice on me. I wore it one day, but I don't think that I should keep it because I just don't have enough occasion to wear stuff like this, and I have so many pieces. I really have to go through my own wardrobe and see what items, you know, when I was working a traditional job, I don't know what to call that anymore. I don't want to call it a real job because this is a real job. And, but you know, the job that people think of as a real job where you leave the house and go somewhere else. But, you know, I would get dressed more frequently. And I think it would be nice to get dressed, more, but right now it's not a practical thing for me to do. And you know, the way that I'm working, and I've got cats sitting on my lap all day, I'm gonna wear this, or in the house, you know. So I have to look at what I have and see how much. There are things that I don't wear often, but there's no way I'm giving them up. But then there's other stuff that I'm always going to come across something else that'll be just as cool. I can swap some stuff out, you know. Oh my God, I'm so hot right now. Jackets. God, let's stop looking at all of the good stuff that happens. Oh my God, and you know, I'm putting my ass off because I've got the steamer going, but also I have started getting hot flashes. It's depressing. I'm 45 years old. And people are like, oh, that's when it happens. No, it's supposed to be like, I don't know, 60, right? If you're 60, I'm sorry. But the bottom line is, I don't want to be going, I don't mind not having my period anymore. Sorry, any men who ever watch this, Dad. But I don't want to, like, be old enough to not have my period anymore, if you know what I'm saying. So, the hot flashes currently are not super bad. It's just once in a while I'm like, oh, that's warm. I hope that they don't get terrible. I was reading about them last night, and apparently they're super debilitating for some people. This dress that I'm steaming now, that you can't really see at all, it's a dress that I've also sort of wanted to not list necessarily. I got this probably not the summer that just passed, but the summer before that, at something that was listed on a garage sale site, but it was a vintage store that was liquidating their inventory. And I spent about $250 there. I got great stuff, and I've sold some of it off. But this piece, and her stuff, I paid $250, but I got so many pieces. Like this dress was probably $3. I got a dress that was black lace cocktail gown, nothing wrong with it, for $1. I have no idea why they had it priced at $1. It was amazing. I kept it because Lord told me that I can't get rid of it because he likes it on me. I worked my cousin's wedding. Really pretty. Anyway, this was very inexpensive, and it's cute. It's like a 40s day dress. It's got a metal zipper down the back. Maybe it's 50s. The problem with it is that there was a repair done in the front. So there's this seam right here, and it just makes it lie awkwardly. So this is something that when I list it, I'm going to sell it really inexpensively, but I feel like I don't want to just ditch it because this is a cute kind of thing that somebody could pay 15, 20 bucks for and be able to wear this around in the summer. I mean, it's a cute dress. I just don't like the way that seam is done. Oh my God, I'm so hot. All right, and these things that I'm gonna, oh my God. I'm gonna rearrange my stuff here so I'm not hurting myself. All right, I have a ton of slips. They're all pretty basic. Let's see, nice, get some stuff. This was $3.50. I got a bunch of them one day. This one I got because I really like the color. I think these two, yeah, these are both a size 40. So that was part of the reason I got them. I have so many of these things, right? So freaking many. And these are also probably between $15 and $30 items. But I got these because they were size 40, which is a more difficult size to find. And I figured I could sell them as a lot. And they were inexpensive. They were $3.50 each. So even if I was paying full price for them, that was not a lot of money. There's another one that's like white. I'm sorry, it's not focusing. Pink. With some lace on the bottom. You can see. That's another goal of mine, is that when I have this room put together, right now I'm using my shipping table. I've got a shipping table a while ago. I'm using that as a desk and a shipping station. What I would really like to do is have a dedicated desk, because I clunk up the shipping station with desk stuff better than what I had before, which was my lap on my bed. But when I get a desk in here, I want to have it set up so that when I want to do YouTube videos, it's a regular setup that I don't have to like do anything special for, and I don't have to make sure that the rest of the room looks acceptable to put on YouTube. the little white slip. These are all, I just had them all hanging on this rack for ages, and I haven't listed them, so I'm like, Lauren, just do it today, or photograph it, whatever, steam them, get going. This is good. I like this kind of stuff. For crazy, all 15 to 30 bucks generally. And then another black one. Little thingy down there. That one's cute. And then up there. So it's a lot of laundry at once, but it's okay. I'm just kind of trying to not waffle about that stuff, not go, oh, well, I have too much laundry. Maybe I should find somewhere to just list it. Laura, just post it. What I've decided to do, traditionally when I've done my listings, I don't do them very efficiently, I don't think. Way back when I first started, I would take a picture and start writing a description and put the measurements in, take the measurements and put them in as I wrote the description. So I would do it all in one step. And I was doing stuff on Instagram at that time, but I didn't really prepare in advance. Then I started getting a little better. I would take a bunch of photographs and then write stuff up, but I was still taking my photographs, and then when it came time to list, I would bring a whole pile of clothes over to my desk and sit down and measure them as I listed, which, number one, made a giant mess at my desk, and number two, I would measure the bust and then put the tape measure down and type in the bust measurement and pick it back up and measure the waist. It was very inefficient. So, and part of the reason that I was doing that was because of this pressure to like hurry up and get things listed. So don't take time to take all the measurements, Laura. Just start listing them, right? But that's, you know, stressful for me. I'm constantly running behind that way. So I decided I'm just going to, I take whatever, I'm doing all this steaming. My next step is going to be to take photographs of at least as much as I can with the daylight that I'll have by the time I'm done with this. After I take photographs, I will take measurements, and as I take the measurements, you guys are sitting on top of my ironing board right now because I don't have a table for this, but as I take the measurements, I will also fold it up and put it in its poly mailer, because that was a separate step later. I would, you know, bring a pile over to my desk and measure it and whatnot, and then throw that pile into an IKEA bag, and it would sit there for a week, and then by the time I was going to wrap it up, I had to, you know, make it look presentable again. So sometimes that meant I had to steam it again, or, you know, so I'm doing it all in one shot so that it's more effective and more, some other word that I can't think of right now, efficient. So, you know, that's how that's going to go. So I'm just trying to take things as they come, not waste my time looking for other things, right? Just steam what you've got on the rack. Let's get going. And it'll work out better for me, I think. This doesn't look too bad. The obstacle that I'm currently having is that once I have them all bagged up in their poly mailers, I don't really have a place to put them because all of my inventory bins are very full. I have 30 bins, and currently 21 of them have listed inventory. The other 9 have either my own wardrobe that was put away because I put the inventory boxes where my wardrobe used to be, or it's unlisted inventory. So I haven't broken into those boxes yet because everything in my bedroom is still needs to be dealt with, and I try to just focus on the bedroom, or, you know, but I'm gonna have to empty one of those out. So inventory, but they're all like bulging and full. It's crazy. But, you know, I sold 2 things that I have to ship out today that are bulky, so I get all excited. I'm like, oh my God, I sold a sweater. That takes up a lot of room. So hopefully that'll get out. What is happening? And anyway, but that's another little obstacle I've been having. Some guy on Etsy, I'm saying a guy, I don't know if it was a man or a woman, during, you know, Thanksgiving, Black Friday, whatnot, I had a sale running for 30% off. And then I upped it to 40% off for Cyber Monday. So while I still had everything listed for 30, and I knew I was going to put it up to, I'd already scheduled for 40% sale, somebody from France contacts me and says, how much, including the shipping, you know, what would your price be for these 12 items, including the shipping? And so I was like, oh my God, you know, there's part of me, it's like, oh, I don't want to pull all these 12 items out of inventory because, you know, I know Etsy doesn't always calculate things correctly when you've got combined listings. They, you know, it seems to quote way too high for shipping. So it's like, I'm going to have to pull all these things to see how much they're going to weigh combined, but I can figure it out. And I really didn't want to do it. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be such a waste of my time. But I was like, Laura, somebody was trying to buy 12 items from you. So, you know, be grateful for that and do what you have to do. So, it has a weird mark on it. So I pulled all 12 items and I agonized over what kind of price to give. I added up what my original cost would have, you know, my original price, if I sold all of them at the original price, what that was. And then I figured out what it was at the 30% off rate. And then because I knew Monday was going to be 40% off, if this person really did buy for me, I wanted to give them a better deal than they would have got if they just bought it through the sale because they're buying in bulk. It's a lot of pieces, and you know. So, but I was already going to be doing 40% off. So I did it as 45% off of my listed price. The shipping to France was going to be $60. And then I also tried to consider, like, I didn't know individually really what I paid for everything. I just guesstimated. I said, let's assume I paid $5 each. So it wasn't going to leave me with a whole lot of profit considering, but the price after the 45% off and including the shipping was going to be $274. Right? Not only did I explain the breakdown for him or her, I don't know why in my head it's a him. It's all mostly women's clothing, but the breakdown, I gave the breakdown. I said 45% off. This is how much my original price was. Blah, blah, blah. Shipping total combined is $274 or whatever it was in euros. Okay. Cool. And he comes back and says, "This 180." No. So then it's like, no, sorry, I'm not going. Like this is really lower than I would even go. So then he comes back and says 200. That's the lowest I'll go. And I'm like, no. So now I have this whole bag full of shit that I have put back into my inventory, which it won't fit into, by the way. And I'm just aggravated by that. This is a bandana, in case you can't tell. I've been looking at bandanas because, ow, fuck me, that hurt. Holy crap. Jesus. A long time ago, I was in a thrift store and I got some bandanas because they're just really cool looking. Like I could tell that they were older, but you know, it's a bandana, right? So like how much, it's like my armpit. I'm glad I shaved for you. You know, it's a bandana, like what, you know, $5 I'm gonna make on that, but I just thought it was cool. And they were probably $1 or maybe 75 cents if it was 25% off day. So I got them just because I like them. Well, talking to my friend Amanda of Sweet Dahlia Vintage, she alerted me to the fact that some bandanas go for decent money. She sold some for like 25 bucks. So I was like, oh crap. So then I don't remember if she told me about the brand itself, the particular ones that I had, these ones called, they have a little elephant logo on them. And at one point, the elephant logo over the years changed from having its trunk facing downwards to its trunk facing upwards. And I think the trunk downs are, I can't remember which one's the better price. I have to look it up again. But some of them are more desirable because they're older. Right? So anyway, I sold one of those for around 25 bucks. So I was really excited. And plus I just like them. So I've been picking them up. If I pretty much try to stick to something that looks very different. Like the print on this, right? You can't really see the black so much. But you know, it's an unusual print. You can't see it well, I'm sorry. A little bit more elaborate. I like this flower design in the center, you know, different than your typical bandana. So that's one thing that I look for. I also look for the mark on the bottom about where it was made. So this says fast color, 100% cotton, and it has the RN number. So usually the good ones will say made in USA. More recent ones are going to be made in China. The RN number, I had looked this one up before and I cannot remember the name of the company, but it was one that it went decently. Like I think I'll be able to do that one for more like 15 bucks. This one's okay. Like I don't know why I bought this one, honestly. Like the design is alright. It's not super crazy. It was made in the USA. This is probably an 80s because that made in USA logo is a little more 80s. It says Paris on the one side, and then it's all cotton, made in USA. You know, I think it's the same RN number as that one, so it's also not. It's not going to be some crazy amount of money. But some of them are really nice, and I just think that they're cool. Like I think that some of them are really different and fun. If you look up, you know, the elephant bandanas are a really good example of it. Some of the designs are just super elaborate, and those are usually the 30s and 40s ones, which, I'm killing my steamer here. You know, those are less common to find, but it's beautiful. There's some guy in China who basically has a museum about these things. We're going to have to just turn this sucker off. I can't believe I went through that whole thing while I was talking to you guys and not stealing my stuff. Anyway, really cool. So I'm done steaming now. You're probably really confused or bored because I can't stay on a single track conversation during this whole thing. But I wanted to get back out there and do a video and show you some cool stuff. So I appreciate you guys watching. And let me see if it was maybe. Oh my God, yeah. The loft bed with the space underneath, I've thought about that before. And the reason that I didn't get a loft bed, besides the fact that I'd probably fall out of it and like break something, is that the cats sleep with me and they would have a hard time getting on top of it. I do have a bed with the drawers underneath, but I don't really utilize them. I was for a while, but I haven't lately. So, but yeah, that would sort of be, I don't know. I've thought about it. I've definitely thought about it. Anyway, so thank you again all for watching. I am going to try and do these more frequently. I ideally want to get to a point where I have a regularly scheduled program. I don't know when that'll be though. So in the meantime, I really appreciate you guys watching, which I said 5 times now. Sorry. I hope to see you soon. Thank you.